Well, good evening, folks. This is Resistance News, and I'm commonly called Bob Earthwise. So, hey, welcome to your news show, where you can netcast to all about your actions of resistance. And we're here every week on Darkcity Radio. DAs, or direct actions, drive progress. And whether it be from Rosa Parks on an Alabama bus to the tank man in Tiananmen Square, these are the people that have affected real societal change. However, a recent attempt to push sustainable energy to the fore has been met with a multi-million-pound lawsuit. This, of course, is against No Dash for Gas activists. Early on Monday, the 29th of October, 16 people scaled the chimneys of West Burton gas-fired power station, shutting it down. EDF are now attempting to sue these climate activists for £5 million in alleged lost profits. We are really pleased to welcome Eva to talk to us on behalf of No Dash for Gas. And I gather, Eva, that you put your life, limb and liberty at considerable risk to get this fossil fuel CO2 emissions message across. What made you do this?
Hi, Bob. Thanks for having me. What made us do it? Basically, we're at a point in time now where you've got a crunch of a lot of different crises coming together, and one of those crises is the climate crisis. And there is an energy gap in this country. There needs to be a rethink about where energy is coming from, and what the government and the big six energy companies have concluded is that gas is going to be the fuel of the future for the UK. Now, they're doing this on the basis of their own profit projections, on their own reserves, on their own infrastructure, and not taking into consideration binding carbon emission reduction targets, and the fact that gas is a dirty fuel, it's volatile, we'll have to import it, and it's expensive, and it's not that much cleaner, actually, than coal. So we needed to intervene in this. We needed to say we need to stop this dash for gas, and we wanted to do it in the most visible and high-profile way possible, because lobbying, emailing, that doesn't work. So that's why we decided to go and occupy and shut down West Burton gas-fired power station, and that's EDF's flagship new gas-fired power station.
Okay, and presumably you didn't have much trouble getting in.
No, I mean, for all their talk of security and all the rest of it, they actually had a massive gap in their fence. There just wasn't a part of the fence there, so we walked in.
An open door.
Yeah.
What was it like being up a chimney for 7 days?
It was quite challenging. I won't say that we didn't really appreciate the experience. You know, we really did. A lot of us felt very empowered to be up there, that every single day we were resisting, we were challenging EDF, we were physically challenging the government's dash for gas. We were doing a lot of media interviews up there, talking to local radio and local television, national television, newspapers. And we also had the challenge every day of trying to get a line across from chimney 2 to chimney 1. And, you know, we climbed a lot. We sat inside the chimney frequently. We sat on the edge of the chimney at the top. And, you know, we had to get the place habitable as well. So we were building a toilet. We were erecting solar panels. We had to move our entire shelter because the wind changed. And so we were in this sort of massive wind tunnel. So actually the time went quite fast. We all had each other to speak to and to sort of huddle with in the cold. So, you know, there's a real sense of camaraderie and cooperation. You know, when you're at that height, and you've got so much to deal with in terms of just kind of staying up there and staying safe, you all really cooperate and rely on each other. And, you know, it was really great.
So a great sense of having your back watched and you watching everyone else's back.
Yeah.
What were the lowlights for you?
Probably the cold. It did get very cold up there. And also when it rained in the night, that was difficult because the water would gather in the tarpaulin, so we'd have to sort of wake up now and again and kind of tip it all out. Otherwise, it would just sag, and then eventually just sort of burst out and would get wet. And my boot filled with rainwater on like day 4. So for the rest of the days, I had to have my foot in a plastic bag, and the boot was really soggy. And maybe a cup of tea would have been nice. We didn't have any hot drinks or anything like that up there. We just had these hot packs every night that are self-heating. We used the rainwater for that to heat them up, and we had curry every night for 6 nights, vegetable curry. So, it would have been nice to have had something a bit different. And also the police, we were in contact with the police a lot, but it got to the point where actually they were just almost harassing us with continuous phone calls, they just killed our phone battery, basically. And we did actually run out of battery quite quickly. We couldn't sustain it on, we sustained it for quite a while with the solar panels and some other large batteries and I think we had a laptop. So the lowlights were kind of technical difficulties and constant police phone calls when we'd already told them once, twice, 10 times, this is when we're coming down, this is what we're doing, we're all safe, thank you. So that was a bit frustrating.
So it's more harassment than concern for your welfare.
Well, it began to feel like that, because how many times can you give the same message? We're not going to fly away. We're not going anywhere. It's really clear where we are, So it was a bit of an overkill, really.
And what were the highlights for you?
Well, the highlights were succeeding in getting there, succeeding in shutting it off, knowing that we were stopping carbon emissions every single day that we were up there, speaking to media and getting the message out, getting the story out, being in contact with each other, getting to know each other, and just kind of braving the challenge. It's like a sort of endurance test, and you feel strength from that. And getting the line across was a high point as well, and one of us was able to get across, and then 2 people came across from the other side, so that was good, that was all safe, and that was done. And going in the chimney was a high point as well. I'm really scared of heights, and I had to really challenge that fear in order to do the action. And so, abseiling down inside the chimney was really scary, but once I was in there, it was really beautiful. It was very silent and nice, and sort of all rusty, kind of orangey sunset colour. And also just the views as well. The views around the power station were very beautiful. The sunrise, the sunset, that was really nice.
How high are these chimneys?
80 metres.
Wow, yeah, it must have been a really good view from that high then. You could see the weather coming at least.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you may or may not remember EDF Energy, which is obviously a French energy corporation, had an advertising campaign where they used a Green Union flag. Now this really rubbed me up the wrong way, because A, they're not English or UK, they're not a UK company, and they most certainly are not a green company. And I really felt that using this flag was misleading, and a number of us complained to advertising standards about this, and they rejected the complaint. Well, this kind of upset me even more, so on their website they had a picture of the Green Union flag, which I went and stole and started using it as my profile picture on Facebook, challenging them to take me to court over it, which they never did. Probably because they were lining up their Olympics public relations campaign, where they became one of the major sponsors, supposedly providing energy to what was supposed to be a green Olympics city, and they kind of are not a green company. So I really, really don't understand how people are not realising that they are such a bad energy giant. Well, this carry on.
So EDF's got the lowest percentage of renewables in their energy portfolio out of all of the big 6.
Wow, it's shameful, isn't it? Well, this kind of brings us neatly on to where you guys are to date, and their decision to bring a lawsuit against you for $5 million. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's clearly not about the money. 5 million amounts to about a day's profits for EDF. That, you know, they made 1.7 billion last year. This is about suppressing dissent and protest. It's about deterring activism of this kind in the future. Because the police couldn't infiltrate this action and shut it down before it started, the alternative is to make sure it doesn't happen again and to really punish us, so that anyone wanting to take action is going to have to deal with the fact that maybe their home might be taken away from them, or they'll be in debt for the rest of their lives. You know, there's a criminal process in this country. We're subject to that. We've pled guilty. You know, we've taken responsibility. What we've got instead is this civil action, which is a private action that's been brought about by EDF, and that means we don't get to have a public hearing. We don't get to have a jury decide what should happen, because actually when juries have had the power to decide on actions like this, because there have been other protests that have shut down power stations, not as long as this one, but there have been some, juries have acquitted. Juries have decided that activists are not guilty, and they're actually in the right, and they're doing the right thing. So what's happened in this situation is that it seems like the police have decided, and somebody even overheard a police officer saying that they didn't want us to have our day in court, i.e. a jury trial. So aggravated trespass as a charge is heard by a magistrate, one judge, that's it. And, you know, the upside of that is that you can't get longer than 3 months for this charge in prison. But the downside is that you don't get a hearing from your peers, from the public.
Does that mean they've taken away your right to a jury trial?
Well, it depends on the offence. It's not an automatic right to have a jury trial. There are two different courts. There's the Crown Court and the Magistrates Court, and it just depends on how they regard the severity of the offence. So we don't have an automatic right to a jury trial, but we believe it's a sort of strategic and tactical decision to, you know, have us heard in a Magistrates Court for the criminal case and then whack us with this massive civil action, which doesn't have a jury trial at all.
And presumably that's in another court, a civil court.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well, all this news coming out has caused a massive public outcry against EDF, which is kind of overwhelming so far. When I did a bit of research this morning and I went and had a look at the petition site, there were more than 5,000 signatures. How do you feel about 50,000? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, there's nearly 55,000 now. 55. We feel really good. We feel like it's really clear that the public are on our side. That, you know, no one likes a bully, and no one likes a company that you know, is disrespecting human rights activists, is disrespecting the environment, and is trampling over people's rights and people's futures. You know, people have spoken and said, you know, it's not on. So we're really chuffed that we've got the support. You know, it's been really massive over social media, on Facebook. Our Facebook page has got over 3,000 likes. You know, we've got, you know, a lot of Twitter followers. We've had retweets from all sorts of high-profile people like Lucy Lawless, who's Xena Warrior Princess, Richard Dawkins, Naomi Klein has supported us and signed the petition, also Noam Chomsky. You know, it's been good.
Well, I don't know if you have the petition website at hand, but I have it here.
I do, yeah.
Would you like to read it?
Yeah, you can read it out.
No, I'm happy for you to.
Oh, okay. It's www.change.org/EDF21. And you can also find out more about Dash for Gas and the action and what's going on, and lots of interesting statistics on no-forgas.org.uk.
Well, that's brilliant. I mean, is there anything that you'd like to add to what we've discussed? I mean, obviously, we here particularly, but you guys, I'm sure as well, want as many people to sign up to that petition. But is there anything else that you'd like to bring up?
Yeah, you can invite one of us to come and speak at your trade union meeting, at your community centre, at your pub. You know, if you want to put on a public meeting about the Dash for Gas, one of us will come and will speak and will present. Also, if you're in a union, you can raise a motion at your union branch for people to support us and to reject gas and to promote renewables and decentralized community-controlled energy. You know, that's really important. So yeah, just if people go to the website, the resources are there.
And they can get in touch with you guys through no-forgas.org.uk.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty much gobsmacked by all of this, because you would have thought that corporations would have learned after the McLibel business that actually it's not good to mess with activists.
Yeah.
And my feeling is that they're committing some sort of commercial suicide on all of this.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel about that?
Definitely. I mean, loads of customers are switching, letting EDF know that they're disgusted by their behaviour. You know, they're losing this battle. They're losing the PR battle. And, yeah, I mean, it's really inappropriate what they're doing.
Do you have any links on your website where people can email EDF direct?
Yeah, we do. There's a what you can do section on the website. There's also, you can tweet them directly on EDF, so it's at EDF Energy. And
I've noticed on their Facebook page, people have been quite active on there, so that's another good place.
Yes, they have. Yeah, and there's a free Zingy Facebook page as well, if you just put that into the search on Facebook, and that's a page dedicated to freeing up EDF's mascot Zingy to be a climate activist, which is what Zingy really wants. You know, Zingy doesn't want to be a corporate prostitute, so free Zingy.
Well, that sounds like a really good campaign. We'd definitely get behind the Free Zingy campaign. It'd be great if you can keep us in the loop about anything else that you guys are doing, or anything that you think we can help you with. We'd be happy to do it.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks very much.
I've got one last little surprise for you. During my research, I found a little poem that was written at the top of the chimney and first performed there. And I'm hoping that we can link that through YouTube now, and everyone can get to listen.
Okay.
Okay, this is my attempt at a poem. Can you smell gas? Seeping through the cracks of our energy policy. We're 80 metres high, but we're closer to reality than back-scratching bureaucrats' cheap gas fantasies. As the North Sea runs dry. So it's hooray for Norway! Hurrah for Qatar! Dipping to the pumps to supply a twitching Great Britain with its hot, gassy high. Meanwhile, outside the power station, we hid in vegetation when security guards came by. And despite being about as well hidden as the government's pro-corporate agenda, i.e. not very, we somehow got past and then ran as fast as a Tory MP towards a glass of fine dry sherry. We dashed for the gas through the fence's massive gap, paired over to the stairs, and there our mad scramble became even madder as we hauled ourselves up 60 metres of ladder, out of reach of the security, out of reach of doubt and futility, high above the feeling that we can't change anything, higher than a kite, as high as you like, almost as high as EDF's latest price hike. And as the gas turbine grinds and winds its way down into silence, in the resulting hush, it dawns on us all that the most powerful thing in this station now is us. But why be so mean and so cruel? Surely gas is the clean fossil fuel. Yeah, natural gas. Natural as an oil slick or a coal pile. Natural as the PR pro's rosy smile. It's nearly as filthy as its fossil fuel friends, but it's just got a bit more style. Shoving its way into a government-loving, sinister ministers huddled round the gas room, going into raptures over dreams of carbon capture and the hot profits from shale that simply can't fail. Don't these fracking people ever learn? Would you like your apocalypse on maximum heat or on more of a slow burn? Meanwhile, outside the fossil-fried corridors of carbon power, when the public are asked, would you like to have gas? The answer this brings is, we'd rather have wind. It's this plain common sense that we brought through the fence and hauled up the ladders around the stairwell to the peak of the chimney to stand there and yell, "Hey there, UK! Bloody hell! All our time's nearly gone. Didn't you notice the smell?" You left the gas on.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I've heard it a few times, thanks. I didn't want to... Are we done now?
No, we're still on air.
I was going to... I just wanted to say, Zingy, I'm not dissing prostitutes when I say that Zingy doesn't want to be a corporate prostitute. What I mean by that is that Zingy just wants total control over themselves. And Zingy is not a he or a she. And, you know, basically, I just wanted to make that clear. I'm not making a judgment call on prostitution.
I'm absolutely certain none of us took it that way at all. We don't want Zingy to be a corporate prostitute either.
Zingy can be whatever kind of prostitute Zingy wants to be, just not EDF.
Exactly.
Not for EDF.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Eva.
You're welcome, thank you.
A big, big hug to you.
Thank you.
And we look forward to hearing from you again.
Thanks. Okay. Cheers. Thanks for your support. Okay. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Oh, come on, Bob. If you want me to buy into your holier-than-thou position, you gotta convince me you're right. For God's sakes, Bob, think of the magnitude of this. Whoa, Bob, hold on here.
Well, welcome back, folks. That was really good to hear from Eva and the No Dash for Gas campaign, and to hear that they're all in such good spirits as well. And I hope that each and every one of you will get on the petition site and support these people, because they are making a difference. And speaking of which, we've got a little bit more information about the Hastings Road campaign, and we've got Boris back. How you doing, Boris?
Hello, Bob, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I understand there's been a few some turns of events down there.
Yeah, first thing that I need to let everyone know is Camp Ivy's closed at the moment. We've closed it down because of nesting season. It's called Camp Ivy because there's oak trees covered in ivy, so obviously it's a good place for birds and bats. So we figured we'd best get out of there as well to give them... They've had a lot of their spaces taken away, so we didn't want to take another one away from them. It's also fulfilled its purpose at the moment. As far as we know, they've cut all the hedgerows out. And people did come down and stay, people did come down and help. It's been quite an eventful week as far as security and bailiffs have been concerned, trying to shut footpaths off and not being successful. Yeah, you know, things are changing. It's as with the seasons, they're working with the seasons. So as the seasons change, we have to change tactics. So we've got a few different things coming up now. Yeah, you know.
I understand that you had a little bit of a surprise from some, well, High Court enforcers, they call themselves.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was walking my dog down the footpath last Friday, and just coincidentally I was filming, and just coincidentally I came across the workman and the security. Well, there was one workman and 30, maybe 40 security guards, and maybe 10 to 20 High Court enforcement officers. And I was walking along, minding my business sort of thing, with the dog, and a guy shouted to me over a fence, "Oh, you can't walk down there no more, Boris." So I asked him why I couldn't walk down there, and stood there, rolled myself a cigarette, carried on filming, rolled myself a cigarette. Next thing, a woman approached me, started telling me I couldn't walk down this footpath anymore, ever again, because it's now been compulsory purchased, as part of the compulsory purchase by Sussex County Council. To which I replied, well, I am walking down it. It is a right of way. There's no signage on this right of way. There's no man at work signage. There's no rerouting signage. You're not offering to take. They didn't offer to walk me past the danger zone. Next thing I know, there's a bailiff comes up. I call them bailiffs, but High Court enforcement officer comes up with 3 or 4 red hats, as we call them, security guards. SIA security guards behind him, backing him up. Got right in my face, asked me if I was going to go back. I said no. Then he assaulted me, grabbed my arms, they twisted me round and frog marched me about 200 yards up the track. I came home, phoned the council, checked to see if there was any footpath closures in place. There is no footpath closures in place at all. So I phoned up the local constabulary, and in the last week I've made a statement to them, handed in my footage, and we'll wait to see what comes of that.
And this is just another thing in the long list of crimes, actually, that these people have been committing the whole time they've been there.
Oh, totally, Bob. I mean, I saw one lady, she was 68 years old. She'd been hugging a tree, literally hugging a tree. One of these guys had pulled her off and bruised her arm all the way from her hand up to her elbow. You know, literally black bruising up her arm. Some of the things they've been, some of them, I've got to admit, some of them have been okay. They've been allowing me in to take photos of hedges, to check the hedges, make sure there's no birds' nests in there. But some of them are complete and utter thugs, you know, totally different breed. Unbelievable they are. One of the girls today described them as slimy. To be... yeah, that's the way she said. She said she didn't get it off all of them, but off some of them she feels like they're slimy and you know, she doesn't like being in proximity of them at all. But yeah, it wasn't just me. 2 days before I got moved, I got assaulted. 3 other guys had been assaulted walking down the track. We know another girl that was walking down the track with her dogs. She got turned back. She turned back because her dogs would have bit somebody. She didn't really have much choice, you know. They put her in a situation where it was going to make her dogs violent. Luckily, mine didn't bite anybody. Yeah, it's a whole big long list of stuff. I'm sure it'll all come to the forefront one day. I mean, we're hoping to push this case as far as we can, as far as I can, I should say, because I won't stand for it. You know, right of way is a right of way, and they cannot close it off to us. No,
I mean, having been involved in events that have got public right-of-ways through them, you can't actually close them unless you're doing some sort of repair. So I guess from that point of view that the enforcers, the gang as I prefer to call them, should have actually escorted you in the direction you wish to go at the speed you wish to walk at.
Yeah, that's exactly what should have happened, Bob. That's what I would have done. Like you say, that's what you would have done. I mean, I'm trained up in countryside management, and definitely you have. If I'm working with a saw on a footpath, I've got eyes either end watching, you know, and escorting people through, watching me, making sure I stop work when they come through. And we were taught that you work at their leisure, not at your leisure, if that makes sense.
And presumably you have to have some sort of signage out.
Oh, definitely, yeah. We'd have to have, personally, if I was on the crew, we'd have to have man at work signs out, danger men working ahead, danger tree felling, danger hedge cutting, you know, you name it. I mean, we live in a society now where everybody's going to get sued, so of course there should be danger signs everywhere people are working. And footpath signs, I think they have to give 28 days notice on to reroute or close a footpath. I think it has to be noted up for 28 days. And there's no notices, like we say, we've checked with the council, with the rights of way officers, and there is no footpath closures at all imminent in this area. There is some in the town, where they're doing the works in the town, but not in the countryside at all. It makes me wonder whether they've neglected to get them or something.
Well, that just goes on the other list, doesn't it, of the licences they didn't get and all the rest of it.
Yeah, it's amazing that they've. I mean, I don't know if they have completed all the cutting work. I'm half hoping they haven't, obviously, because it could slow them down. But what I can say is our side is nearly completed. There's just some stumps in the ground and some chipping work they need to do. As for the Crowhurst side, I imagine it's the same over there, but I can't say definite on that. They were still chipping over there yesterday on the 1st of March. They were still chipping, but we couldn't find any proof of anybody cutting over there.
Okay, well now Camp Ivy's been temporarily closed down in order that the wildlife can have a bit of peace and quiet. I understand that you've got a list of other things that are going to be happening in the next little while.
Yeah, the main one's called Operation Disclosure. That is let me just get it up. Sorry, I need a bit of a thing on this. Operation Disclosure is set up because where is it? I can't find it. Operation Disclosure, anyway. The Department for Transport got asked by a minister, Norman somebody or another, I can't remember his name. He asked them for a recommendation on this road build, and under the Freedom of Information Act, it was the Coombe defenders managed to get a copy of it, but it was all redacted. Anything that that the public would need to know about the expenditure was redacted. So what they've done is they cut a piece of tree, the bottom of a massive tree they cut down. We managed to get a slice of it, and on there has been written a statement to the Department of Transport asking for the information to be released. Also saying that if the information isn't released on Monday the 8th of April, that a few of us will go up there and get the information ourselves. We'll go in and do a document search and see what comes of it. You know, there's other things happening through March. I'll have to give you more information on that, but the 14th to 18th of March is going to be a weekend of action. A weekend of action in the valley. There'll be different things happening for different people. You know, there'll be walks through the valley. There'll be stalls. There'll be different actions and different walks and things happening all around the area. Really, I'm thinking about just doing a guided walk this side to show people the destruction that's happened so far. You know, just things like that. There's London this Monday. They meet in London, Horse Ferry Road, London, outside the Department of Transport, to hand in a cross section of one of the trees that I was just talking about. And then Monday, 11th of March, it just so happens that the Department for Transport's Information Rights Unit is in Hastings. So we're going to go out there on Monday, the 11th of March, and see if we can get some public-spirited members to blow the whistle, as it was, and let us have this information. The public should have access to this information, as far as we're all concerned. I mean, it's public expenditure. What did it say? What was the problems? You know.
Well, good luck with all of that. And each time that we can fit in a plug for any of these, of course we will, Boris. It goes without saying. And we wish you all the best with it, mate.
Yeah, brilliant, Bob. Also, can I just point out that Corporate Watch, on their website, there's a brilliant thing. I'll just put a link up for you now. There's a brilliant write-up about the history of the road. From the corporate angle. It's a really good write-up. Let me see if I can get the link to you now. But yeah, no, thanks, Bob. Thanks for letting us speak out again. You know, it's good.
Right, well, as soon as I've got that link, I'll put it on the Resistance event page and on Dark City, and then everyone can have a read of it then.
Yeah, okay, mate, no problem. It is worth the read. Let me say that it definitely is worth the read about how bent this road is and who's behind it all. You know,
Brilliant. Well, all the best to you, and pass that on from us to all the rest of your crew there, and we're with you in spirit for sure.
I will do, Bob, and if I get any news about what's happening, I mean, we don't know what work's happening next week at all now. We're at a sort of a blank, so we'll be back out Monday to try and spot and find out what they're doing and what their next moves are, but we'll keep in touch. Thanks again for the ads, lads. Nice one.
Thanks, Boris. Have a nice evening.
Yeah, cheers, Bob. Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it from Resistance News for this week. You can go and find the podcasts at youtube.com user Darkcity Radio, and information you can find at our Facebook group, which is facebook.com groups Darkcity Radio TV. And we have a new like page now called Dark City Radio, where we also put all the podcasts up. If you need to talk to us, you can get us on Skype at Bob's Backyard. That's Bob's Backyard, one word. And of course we have a landline which is 0161 298 0298, and you can get in touch with us that way. Well, thanks for giving us your time, guys. We'll be back with the Dark City crew after this little bit of music.
Things, yes, lots and lots of different things. There's chat, there's music, diversity, an occasional argument, you know, for the warmongers.